Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining us here today on the CryptoWave Podcast. I'm Jennifer, and we're here with Jesse and Joey, and we deliver the news that's making waves in crypto.
We are here.
Joe, she did such a good job.
I know.
This is her first time.
I know. What an intro. Good to be here. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, it's a triple J's of crypto news.
Yeah.
Trends, people, everything. We're gonna dive right in. So, Jen, what is the breaking news today? I know there's a lot to go through, so everybody stand by. But let's go ahead and start with the first story.
All right. Well, first, let's just do a quick disclaimer. And nothing that we talk about here today is financial advice. It's purely for education and entertainment purposes only. So please do your own due diligence, or you will lose all of your money.
All of it.
All right, so breaking news today, this morning, it's official. El Salvador is set to adopt Bitcoin as its legal tender after the majority of the nation's legislature voted to accept the proposal this morning. So it's the first country in the world to adopt Bitcoin as its legal tender.
And that's amazing, though, the third world nation like that, El Salvador, being the first one.
But I'm thinking like Bitcoin. Like it's a poor country.
Yeah.
So it's like what, a whole village shares a half a Bitcoin? Like how does that work?
I don't know.
Because they don't make a salary to make even like one Bitcoin a year there.
That's what I don't understand when I heard it was El Salvador.
So why wouldn't they use like a lower denomination, like a currency that they could actually like have?
Seashells?
Yeah, seashells.
So
they're not that primitive.
So Jack Mahler is
Yes.
the CEO of Strike.
Okay.
And Strike's company, from my understanding, they have actually given a lot of these people to download their application and start to use Bitcoin. They've given them, I believe, $33 in Bitcoin just to start.
Okay.
So they're like giving out money.
Well, that's not bad, but I mean, it's only $33, which I mean, that may be a weekly wage. I mean, that may be really nice and
Yeah, I believe
Weekly?
they,
in El Salvador.
Yeah,
they
maybe.
make like $2 a day.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why they come up here and migrate to here so they can get $10 a day.
Yeah, but maybe we should retire to El Salvador.
Well, with our Bitcoin,
Right?
with our Bitcoin now,
I think so.
I like
Well,
that.
the president is calling for all crypto and all technology entrepreneurs to move to El Salvador. They want to be a tech hub.
Well, that's how you start. So for those that aren't familiar with Central America, it's actually a really like high-tech kind of area. San Jose, Costa Rica, for instance, before DraftKings and all these other legal betting rooms and sports books were allowed, it was offshore in Costa Rica. So Costa Rica had all these, I mean, big like offices and just full of people making these bets and everything else. And so they've kind of been on cutting edge for a little bit. So that kind of makes sense.
Well, it's just the first domino to fall. So since El Salvador has announced this, now Paraguay, Panama, Nicaragua, Brazil, Argentina, so all of these Central and South American countries are talking about following suit.
So my only question is, and I'm not sure if it's in the news that was broadcast because it's brand new, but I'm wondering what that's going to look like practically. Meaning,
Right.
how are you going to get people to come? Like, I mean, especially like Brazil. Like, there's a lot of slums in Brazil. I mean, it's
Oh my
it's
God.
no secret.
Yeah.
And these people are like, I mean, they don't really have a nickel to their name. But I'm wondering what that's going to look like for people for any government to get their citizens to turn in their existing currency in exchange for a ledger that may be on a smartphone or maybe a cold wallet, but where they put that cold wallet if they're very poor. So I'm just being like, just someone who's very curious, and I'm just wondering what that implementation is going to look like. And if they do go, I mean, it's probably going to take the next 10 years for everybody to adopt it.
Yeah, it's gonna
yeah.
it's gonna take time, and the government is going to be implementing these wallets for people to get started. But your currency doesn't have to be denominated in Bitcoin. You can easily go from cash to Bitcoin, so that way you can avoid the volatility of Bitcoin.
I wonder what the corruption rate would be with all of that going on in those countries as well. Are they using that to skim the top, or are they trying to devalue the American dollar and their own dollar, and where their hands in all of this? If they're mining it themselves, these there's got to be a reason behind all this, as opposed to just, hey, we're going into the crypto world. It's something fishy there.
Yeah, well, Joe, coming from you, there's a lot of new things that are fishy.
I know. Hey, this is all new to me. I have no clue. I'm just here for the ride. They said I could get a tan from the lights, so that's the only reason why I'm here.
It says tanning booth outside the door of the studio.
Well, it's going to separate them from the IMF. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the governments.
So without an international monetary fund, right? That's the IMF that you're referring to, who regulate central banks. With this being, and we know that Bitcoin is decentralized, so there is no like one place where it's all stored, and somebody's like can it's not like a Fort Knox where all the gold is, right? I mean, it's like it just exists.
It's in somebody's basement,
right? So I mean, I guess we're really taking the IMF out of business with moving into a more decentralized currency.
Well, now the El Salvador is going to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So,
wow, that's interesting.
So essentially, it's going to lead to central banks holding it on their balance sheet. And once one central bank holds it, then they kind of all have to.
The globalists are going to be exploding over this.
Yeah. Well, I guess the IMF is still going to be in business, though. Because, I mean, if most countries just can't go full Bitcoin. Yeah. It's going to be another asset, just like a gold bullion or
shekels. A couple of shekels. Everybody needs shekels.
And it may be like, real estate holdings. So, every central bank, I think, diversifies, whether it's oil or whatever else. So I'm curious as to what that's going to look like. And with currency around the world.
So if they're going to be mining it themselves, is that a coin would that be a crypto that we'd be buying on one of these wallets, or
it'd be
in the world there?
It'd be a bit peso.
A bit peso. Do they use peso there, or is it or is it queso?
It's a queso. I'm pretty sure Mexico is still pesos, and some of the other ones. I know Panama is it's something else.
But that's El Salvador,
right? But a lot of the like Guatemala, some of those neighboring countries around Mexico also use. They call the currency peso.
Peso.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to look more into that. That's a great question.
Yes, I'm not sure exactly what their currency is, but I know it's been devalued, and what our government.
I'll look it up.
There you go. And what our government is doing right now with all of the money printing, it is devaluing El Salvador's currency, which is based on the dollar. They also use the dollar. So because they have no control over that, I mean, none of us have any control over it. Nobody asked if we were okay with the government printing all the money. So it's devaluing their currency. So this is their hedge against losing everything. And it's interesting, actually, because 22% of El Salvador's GDP comes from remittances. So it's people who have left El Salvador and sending money back to their families. And so they take anywhere from 10 to 50% of what they're sending back in remittances. And that's 22% of their GDP. So with having the growing Bitcoin and what it's going to do for GDP, and especially if they start mining it, the president today put a tweet on Twitter talking about mining Bitcoin using their excess energy from their volcanoes.
And they have active volcanoes there.
Yes.
Oh, nice. Wow. Now, what if they erupt and melt all the Bitcoin?
No, they won't. You know how many hot dogs you could cook over the one of those volcanoes? Think of the barbecue over there.
So
a lot of roasted chicken.
The Bitcoin won't melt because they're in the air.
I know, they're virtual. But I mean, what about the servers? I mean, so it's geothermal. They're not actually like using the volcano magma.
Magma. Liquid magna.
That's
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers reference, yes. Liquid magma. And so they're not actually using they're not going to put servers over the volcano itself, over the lava. But I'm wondering, I mean, God forbid if it does erupt, I mean, it's just going to melt the whole mining operation. Right?
I guess. I don't. We'll have to see. We'll have to look at that.
This is why we call it breaking news, because nobody has these answers.
I don't know. Maybe some engineer who's listening will send us the formality. Yeah, some geologist that we have working over at NASA could tell us.
It could be a silicone carbon fiber, facility that maybe doesn't melt.
Do you want to know what that coin is called?
Yes.
The Salvadoran
Colon.
Okay.
I believe that's what they use in in Panama.
Panama is a Balboa.
Okay.
Balboa.
Yeah. Or
In Hamnes to Rocky?
yeah. No.
You know, I should
but
know that
it's something like
I
that.
was actually born in Panama.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm a Panamanian.
So you can't
Hey.
run for president.
Well, I have dual citizenship.
I don't know how that works.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
But Panama's not going to be next on board, and some people don't know this about Central America either. Panama is actually like really way ahead. I mean, not only did we leave our occupation there in the 80s and we built a canal, but they still have the canal, which gives them a lot of money. Trump has a tower in Panama City, Panama, and and it's actually the biggest metropolis in all of Central America.
However, in 2001, they went to the U.S. dollar.
Panama did.
El Salvador.
El Salvador.
Right. Well, Panama uses both of their currencies too.
So that's interesting that they
Yeah.
went to the U.S. dollar and now they're getting involved in.
That's why expats love it.
That's why they're going into. That's why they're
easy.
going into the Bitcoin then, and
Right.
they're going to try and devalue the dollar even more.
Well, no, I think they
they're-
see
they're
how
being-
much we're printing, and it's already being devalued.
Well,
by
that's what
inflation.
I mean. Inflationary. Yeah. No, I don't know what the technical term. I'm an ad guy.
El Salvador is hedging against all of us printing. They see
Yeah.
the USD plummeting
Yep.
because we're just
They're hedging their bet.
Yeah.
They're hedging their bet. Interesting.
yeah. So I think anybody holding USD needs to hedge against that falling dollar.
Oh, absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So
Wow.
next, we'll talk about some Amazon news. So Amazon has posted a job. They're looking for a blockchain expert. According to a jobs post published on the company's employment portal, the firm wants someone who's passionate about blockchain and decentralized finance and someone who can build innovative business use cases across decentralized finance.
Sure is.
Interesting. That's interesting. Jeff Bezos getting into this. I wonder if it's his way of combating. You know how him and Elon have this thing going on.
It's a little rivalry.
I wonder if there's a rivalry there. And I'm waiting for going back to El Salvador. I wonder if Elon's going to run for the president so he can help the currency over there with the crypto.
Elon para presidente.
El Presidente. And now
So,
Amazon.
Jeff
Interesting.
Bezos actually, he with his Blue Origin, he's
Yes.
going to be on one of the first trips to space.
Yeah.
Him and his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're launching not only the most richest person, but also the heir
Yeah.
to the biggest fortune.
Yeah, normally,
It's like,
normally you don't fly together like that when you have that kind of money.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe
not
he
not the first flight.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of Elon Musk taking a flight to space. He's like,
Well,
no,
here-
you guys go first.
He's already got a dummy and a Tesla, living
Yeah.
his best life out there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But yeah, Blue Origin, we're really, I mean, that's exciting stuff because Bezos has, of course, tons of money to let's see how many rockets we can put up. But
Helps us in this county. Keep spending.
yeah, so we are located on the Space Coast as a group of us in the studio. So to us, we kind of see it on the ground floor, but only in that instance,
Yes,
because
yes,
there's no
yes.
really other rivalry between Elon and Jeff.
No.
No,
It's a space race.
yeah,
Space race.
Space race, yeah. So it's only in this regard that they actually have like a little bit of competitiveness.
Yeah.
So
And
I don't know.
now they're getting into Bitcoin, and then with Amazon, I wonder what that'll lead. I mean, does he?
well, I mean, they're
because
not
the
they're not
influence he has?
ignoring the trend.
Yeah.
So Amazon, they want to
So-
get ahead of it.
so they're looking for a professional who does blockchain technology.
blockchain, but who specializes in DeFi and decentralized finance.
Yes.
So
Well, that's a
essentially,
whole
like,
different world there.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to dummy that down for me a little bit because you get into DeFi, Wi-Fi. I'm still learning my code for Wi-Fi. Now I have to learn what DeFi is. Forget
Yes.
it.
So DeFi. So DeFi, similar to Wi-Fi, but
Yeah.
no. So basically, they're building a whole financial system
Yeah.
alongside of our traditional financial system. So
Oh.
decentralized finance is basically offering bank services where you can buy, sell, you can loan money, you can borrow against your crypto, you can stake,
Interesting.
Wait,
you can earn interest.
I can loan crypto and make like I could be my own bank.
You could be your own pawn
You
shop.
can be your own bank.
Wow.
Exactly.
Well,
but
the-
what makes it great
Yeah.
is that it's peer to peer. So I mean, you can without having a trusted third party intermediary. You don't have to go and fill out forms and check who you are and check your background and your credit and everything. It's
interesting that-
open for everybody.
That's interesting
Yeah.
that Amazon wants to do that. Think about that. he has enough money to open up his own bank, but he's not. And he's opening up a crypto bank in a sense.
He could, yeah. I mean,
Right?
Well, they
In a
want to do
sense,
it
right?
for the Amazon services.
So
So
he'd
that
be
way they
accept-
can accept payments and.
But he's creating his own bank too, if I'm understanding what you're saying. Am I not understanding this correctly?
Well, I think it's just a way to accept the payment
accept
I got
payments,
successfully,
I
right?
got you.
transactions.
I
yeah.
gotcha.
Right. So, I mean, I thought I thought Amazon was already someone who allowed you to pay for things with crypto. I thought that was like 2-year-old news.
Really?
So now that they're getting a blockchain person, they're probably setting something up. They're probably, if they're smart
Yep.
and knowing Jeff and his team, they're probably thinking about their own coin and what that could look like,
Oh yeah.
like their own currency.
It'll have the little logo, the little arrow pointing up.
The smiley face.
Yeah,
gonna
it
have-
doesn't
it's
look
gonna
like
be
a smiley. I'm sorry, it doesn't look like a smiley
a-
face to me.
Amazon Prime, the smiley
That
face.
doesn't look like a smiley
Looks like
face.
your smile.
No, that looks like a. I don't even want to tell you what it looks like to me.
So it's an arrow pointing up, but the arrow tail goes like this, like a smile.
Yeah, but the end of the smile, it just
Okay, so for Blue Origin, it's a feather.
right.
So maybe a feather coin,
Maybe. Didn't we used to have a coin that had a feather on it years and years ago?
maybe on top of Pocahontas' head.
No, no. I think didn't one of our coins way back when have a feather? Oh no, it had the wreaths. That's it. The old
Wreaths.
pennies had the wreaths.
See, this is where we like Joey. He brings back all these tales from
Well,
another
because I'm working
era.
with 2 kids. I mean, they're like, they could be my own children, for God's sake. I never thought I was old till I walked in this room. They didn't even know what the word Schwinn was.
No,
It's a bike.
Yeah, well,
we learned that.
after I explained it.
it's like Joey. You want to say like Trek or Specialized?
I don't know. I don't know Trek. I know Schwinn. I said I have enough Bitcoin to buy a Schwinn, and they looked at me and they didn't understand what a Schwinn was.
We laughed at him. That's what
They
happened.
laughed at me.
There are some expensive Schwinns out there.
Schwinns?
Svins.
Pee Wee's Big Adventure was all about his Porsche Schwinn bike. And now I'm showing my age.
See?
Yeah, multiple generations here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But you knew Pee Wee's Herman.
I love Pee Wee's Playhouse. I grew up with it, and then it devastated me when he wore that trench coat in a Florida theater. I've never been the same since.
Why, were you sitting in the front row?
Hopefully not in front of him or immediately around him. That's so
I won't
bad.
even talk about the popcorn.
All right, what else is in the news?
All right, so Berkshire Hathaway has invested $500 million into the Digital Bank of Brazil.
That's an interesting one.
So this is Warren Buffett's
Warren
company,
Buffett.
which is interesting because
Yeah.
despite Warren Buffett's negative comments of crypto, looks like he is interested in digital banking.
It's because he didn't know it. He liked railroads and oil and he's old school. He likes utilities.
Value investing
Exactly. So
is dead.
but seeing him coming into this realm, or at least giving it like a wink and a nod, should perk up anybody on Wall Street.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Lots of people are coming around. Even Ray Dalio last week made a comment that he owns Bitcoin, which is huge.
Remind us who Ray is.
Yes.
Ray Dalio is a world famous investor, value investor. Yeah.
And yet Trump on Varney and Company yesterday morning said that Bitcoin was Bitcoin was a scam, and that U.S. currency is still far and beyond the best.
Well, only because he is prideful.
Yes.
And
he wants the U.S. to remain.
yeah, we want to be the
world-
dominant currency.
Yeah.
It's been a petrodollar for a long time, and then that's why we had wars over there, because they wanted to have their own currency and not have the U.S. dollar be their petrodollar anymore. And the big banks didn't like that, so we sent over our best.
And plus, he's targeting like mainstream media.
Yeah.
Right.
So he has to.
Just thought that was of interest for
Yeah.
him to say that, but to me, I didn't know if he was doing that to spike the market, because anybody who hated him would just go in and buy it.
And Elon.
Thanks, Trump.
Between him and Elon,
Yeah. I mean, so you also have to pay attention to the language going on.
Yeah.
Because I think there is, especially with this. I mean, we got Laser Eyes on Twitter. I mean, so there's all these like little.
Here we go. We talked about Laser Eye before this.
So we were
Let's explain Laser Eye to people my age.
Well, let me finish the thought. There are some subdued communication things going on. Some of it I mean, they could be saying something, but their body language is saying something else. So you have to look at the whole picture. You have to look at their moves as well, and then decide, are they saying something to set something up, or are they selling something to short, or are they selling something? I mean, there's always a motive between
talking their own book.
The language, it's a kind of funny rule because so many people are hanging on to the language. When you see Elon say something and crypto in one day goes 25%, that's a little bit dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's exactly what we don't want to do, is have somebody with that much influence, being in a position to have that kind of play within the market and within the space.
Yeah.
So pay attention to other subs. Like there's going to be a lot of
subtexts.
Yeah, a lot of subtext. And
pay attention to the laser eyes.
And the laser eyes.
Laser
yes.
eyes. Laser eyes.
Laser eyes.
Laser eyes.
Not to be confused with Gary Laser Eyes, who's a local band here. All right, what else is going on?
Speaking of laser eyes, Latin lawmakers don laser eyes on Twitter in support of Bitcoin. So the president of El Salvador has laser eyes. His name is Nayib
Bukelele, like a ukulele.
The president of Paraguay also has added laser eyes. His name is Carlito.
Still don't know what the hell laser eyes is, but that's okay. We'll keep having this conversation.
Well, no, I mean, Jennifer, can you explain to him?
Laser eyes is just to show that you're a Bitcoiner, just in support of Bitcoin. So it's
my day, it was a thumbs up. Lazy eyes.
Lazy eyes. So it's the
but even this has become something else.
Rodney Dangerfield made a whole career out of giving that signal up. Everything's okay. Right. Old school guy, that's okay.
Right.
It's still an emoji.
That's right.
See, I know emojis. All right.
Yeah, see, Joey's hip.
Yeah. I always thought emoji was the guy down the street, but that's okay.
All right, so Fabio Osterman of Brazil also has laser eyes.
Oh.
So I'm not sure if he's the president of Brazil, but
Fabio.
And then there is a senator from Mexico, Indira, who she also has laser eyes. So it's all, and this is all just within the last couple of days. So they're just following trend off of El Salvador.
That's interesting.
So all of Central America and South America are.
Well, is all South America on board? Ecuador, Chile,
no, not
Argentina,
all.
Venezuela, just pretty much Brazil.
I don't know if it would be interesting if Venezuela, a communist country out of there, comes in, right?
Well, not for nothing, but if they did start accepting Bitcoin, imagine.
Oh, Venezuela is using it.
Oh,
they're using it as.
So let me just explain at this point. They are poor.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine some of the real estate deals that you could find down there?
Yeah, they're poor. The government itself is not poor. The people are poor. That's the
S word. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but what would happen if actually like surrounding holders of crypto would go into Venezuela and maybe, I don't know,
lift them out of poverty,
start up a business and invest in the communities and start bringing their Bitcoin. And the thing is, Bitcoin could go so much further. So for instance, one Bitcoin at what, 40,000, let's just say, roughly
36
every day,
yeah.
36ish. Let's just say
not every day.
That's someone who maybe the house was worth 200,000 equivalent of a dollar. And now you could go in there and now you could just buy property like pennies on a dollar because they have nothing else. They're not going to come back to Venezuela. They've probably already migrated somewhere else. And but let's just say like you could start really like investing in this in these communities that may be highly impoverished, even though there may not be a whole lot of infrastructure or anything else to do right now. But if enough people go and lift that country up, I'm just saying, you could kind of take the government out if they're not using their local currency. I just know. I think it can disrupt something so huge.
Yeah, but
like
that government over there, they're
socialism.
so corrupt. Their hands are going to have into everything, and you know that. Unless you get them out.
But not with a DeFi currency.
Well, with Bitcoin though, it's ultimate decentralization, so it's unconfiscatable. But they have been using it because their currency has been hyperinflated.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's worth.
Yeah. Well, we're heading that way if we keep printing money like this. I mean,
they're
a model.
That's why we are. Yeah, it's a model to run from, not be attracted to.
Meanwhile, they're all coming through the border from Venezuela. Venezuela.
It's a Venezuela is a lot closer than the U.S. border. For these migrants to run to, but nobody's running to Venezuela.
No, I know.
That's
what I'm saying. Yeah. But yet they're walking into an unwall of tentative socialism.
So I'm wondering what that would look like if the government just said, okay, you could pay for your common utilities with Bitcoin, and they started adopting it. And then people would be more willing to sell you their farms, homes, and everything else for Bitcoin if they knew that they can now survive
and get out of their poverty.
And it's a new economy now.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, nobody's going to go. I'm not going to turn my USD into Venezuela currency.
Right.
I'm saying
right.
to buy a Venezuela property. I'm just not going to do that. But I also don't want to bring my USD in cash and give it to somebody because they're not going to have anywhere to go unless we just exchange places. Like, here, I'll give you 20 grand. You give me the beautiful farm in Venezuela, and I'll give you my a single bedroom.
Comes with 2 goats, a donkey, and 7 chickens.
But with a Bitcoin, I don't know. I just think as global citizens, together we could go in there and help that country out.
Yeah, well, we've been trying, but again, the government itself, it's
because you can't help a government that
is corrupt.
We understand it's corrupt, but that they're able to manipulate the currency.
Right.
If you go in there with a currency that they cannot manipulate, now you're giving power back to the people, not the government.
Yep, in comes Bitcoin. That's what it does. It's uncorruptible money.
Right.
Amazing. Just amazing. It's a whole new world.
It's a
whole new world. Well, I used to trade baseball cards. Now it's Bitcoin. Last coin I bought had chocolate in it.
By the way,
Oh, come on, that was funny.
It's good, but I can't just laugh in the microphone the whole time. We also want to deliver content. So here's the thing. And we got to go to break soon, right? So I don't know. Would you do you think the argument would stand that if you could go into a corrupt government and start to buy things without the government's currency and operate an economy without the government having that control to just say, well, we're just going to superinflate stuff and then it's going to be worthless and be doing this stuff that and China has been doing it as well for a long time. It's currency manipulation, and they're able to do it because they have the mint, they have the treasury, they have all the organisms, right, that operate and are allow them to be corruptible. But if you take those organisms away, those organizations, and you just say, well, this is where it's at. It's power to the people again. The government can just see themselves to the door and not be involved in currency. So any kind of federal government, any kind of central bank would now lose all that power. And I think that's why there's been such a pushback in the first place. Would you agree or not?
Oh, absolutely.
They would become more of a volunteer status.
Exactly.
Right? Which is what they should be anyways.
I find that very interesting, and I think you hear the black helicopters over our head now.
You're not lying. You're not lying. But with that, I really hope you guys enjoy that first segment. We'll be right back after these messages.
And we're back.
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking around from the break. We're going to get right into Joey's question of the week.
Yeah, as we were preparing for this, and I was telling friends and talking to everybody about this upcoming podcast that we're doing, me being the old guy in the room and having old friends. I hate to say that, but but one of the questions seniors. Yeah, I guess I'm a senior. I tried that the other day, but I get $1 for a coffee at McDonald's. That's about it. But a lot of people have asked, how do we get started? Where do I buy these coins? And then when I make money, where do I sell it? How do we do this? I mean, it might be a 2-part question.
Yeah.
Well, to get started, I advise everybody to do their research. There's so much noise out there. There's
So as you, the professional, where do you get your noise?
Yeah, and that's a great word, noise, because there is a lot of noise. Yeah.
So after there's everything just kind of sifts and and some of the bigger pieces don't fall through the sifter, right? Those are those going to be the good nuggets.
Right.
Everything else is going to fall through, and it's just going to be fluff. But those nuggets of information, like where do you find it?
I like to go to YouTube, to Twitter, but you have to kind of filter out those good people to follow.
Right.
So I would suggest there's a book I would suggest reading also to start, the Bitcoin Standard.
Oh.
So it kind of goes through every single currency through the beginning of time. So talks about what is money basically.
Right.
So from trade, from the beginning of time, we've had all these different things as currencies, just to hold a store of value and a medium of exchange.
Right.
From salt, cattle, precious metals.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah. Beginning was livestock.
Whop 'em.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's
You
been
you give me a wife.
Yeah.
And I'll give you 3 cow.
yes.
Yeah. That was like
yes.
Roman times. Right?
Yeah.
I think so.
So trade.
Whatever. Yeah.
So in this book, it talks about the rise and
Yeah.
fall of currencies in history, and so there are certain things that happen, and we're seeing a lot of these things play out now. That's what really sparked my interest.
Right.
Was a lot of things that they talk about in the book are things that are happening right now. So throughout history, there's things that happen, whether it be like separation and divide in society, and just manipulation of the money supply. So once I read this book, not having much experience of monetary policy and everything, once I read this book and I realized like they called for some unforeseen events that would cause just excess money printing and devaluation of the currency. Like these things are happening today. We're in the middle of it right now. And it happens so slowly and so plainly in everybody's sight, but nobody's paying attention. So the first thing I would suggest is just to educate yourself, to be aware of what's going on, because if you're not following what's happening, then you're going to get left behind.
Right, but everybody sees on the news and they see, Elon pushing this. I called it Dodge, but that's
The
a,
doggy
but,
coin.
the dog,
Doge.
the Doge. So they see Doge, and they see the word Bitcoin, and they understand that, but going, okay, where the hell do I buy this? I want to buy. I want to spend, it cost me $50 for dinner out. I'm going to blow $50. Where do I download? Where do I do this?
So you want to go to a crypto exchange. I mean, there's lots of places that you can buy crypto.
Who do you trust?
Exactly. So you mentioned like Robinhood. Robinhood, you can buy crypto, but you really don't want to, because then they own the keys to the crypto. So you don't actually custody it and hold it. They are in control of it. So
Own the key.
And that's why it's free.
yeah,
to use.
Oh, so they own the key.
it's not free.
Do they start? They have a service charge and they still hold the keys?
Well, it's built into.
Oh, okay.
They pretty much have it like contracted with. They buy it cheaper and sell it to you more expensive. So
Right.
the fees are built right into the platform.
Gotcha.
Because like someone like me who had no clue, right? So I went to Robin because I wanted to dive into the pool, So I went to Robinhood, and I should have bought AMC stock, but that's another story. That's another show.
Yeah.
And then I went to Coinbase, I'm not promoting anybody because that's not what I get paid for. They gave me $10 towards Bitcoin, so I
Yeah.
think I own like 0.00003 something in a Bitcoin. I got $10 worth of Bitcoin.
Right.
So those points are Satoshis. So you have some sats.
I don't know
there.
whose toes we're talking about. I don't have no clue what any of this is. So we keep talking in foreign languages here, and it's a whole new vernacular with this.
It is.
It is.
It's a culture in itself. Yeah.
Yeah. Jennifer gave me homework a couple of weeks ago, and I started reading things. I'm like, I had to take out the thesaurus and.
These are new invented words.
Yeah.
Satoshis.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can buy crypto on Robinhood if you want to trade it, if you just like coin goes up. So you buy it and then sell it for a profit. But if you actually want to be an investor and hold it, you want to do it on an exchange like Coinbase or Crypto.com. I like Binance.us. there are multiple different exchanges, and I use all of them.
Right.
All of them, multiple different ones, because they don't all have the same things listed.
Exactly.
That's what I found. Is one didn't have one had the other. It's not like you either go to NASDAQ or you go to the Dow and you start looking and buying that way. But it's not.
Well, yeah, and that's actually a good analogy, because there's an ETrade, there's Fidelity,
right?
So you have all these, houses, essentially, these trade houses where you log in, you create an account, you fund it with your USD, and then you trade right there. So I like ETrade personally, but Charles Schwab, there's tons of them. So think of the exchanges just like you would do at a trading house or a Wall Street stock exchange. And so what we would do in the crypto space is just get a couple wallets. I started with, I think, Trust Wallet, Exodus, Jack's Liberty, Coinbase, a couple of them.
Friends of Lubbock.
And now I got I got
just try to
balances.
remember all of your passwords and your login information. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, don't take screenshots and save it to your notes like I do.
Yeah.
Like
all of his private keys are in his
Right.
his notes. If anybody wants to
But
know.
don't worry about it. All my accounts combined is not even $100. So go hack somebody else. But I do. I have like 30 in Kraken. Because I had to go into Kraken trying to get Doge, but then Doge all of a sudden appeared on my Coinbase. So I'm like,
Oh yeah.
well, now I have all this XRP over here, and I got Ethereum here because I was going to buy and trade. So it's becoming, I think, simplified. So thankfully, Joe, for you and your friends, it's not going to be that hard. PayPal now, Venmo now, Cash App. There's so many different ways to buy it. That's really going to be the non-issue soon.
Yeah. So like you have multiple channels. I bought. I have my couple of bucks into this, and I have two different resources, and you go, well, wait a minute, I want to put it all in one exchange.
Right.
In order to do that, I'd have to sell it and buy back again. Is that how you do it, or can I
No.
convert those two?
You can transfer. You
Yeah,
can send.
you can send and receive
from one wallet to another wallet very simply. So
with
crypto,
a QR code.
Who knew? With a QR code.
Yeah.
Wow. I got a guy who can make
I think
them.
we really need to get down to basic fundamentals
I think
for the
that's-
next show.
I think that's
Yeah.
a good. That's
yeah.
a good.
So
yeah.
we'll start the next show with just what is cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, and that way you can get a better understanding.
And you better take notes. So you better sharpen those pencils, young man.
Unbelievable notes. I've done more studying for this than I did 4 years of college. And look at me now.
Well, maybe in another 8 years, you're going to love every bit of this education that you.
I have to wait 8 years.
Oh, you're gonna be rich.
Maybe not.
Don't say that too loud.
Maybe not. But that's our hope.
Yeah,
for
no.
all of our audience, by the way.
Because the
Everybody
amount
paying attention today on our first episode, we really hope that there's going to be some little bits of nuggets that you can take with you and apply them. Instead of buying those scratch-offs where your money just disappears.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on.
Hold
on.
We call that a poor man's tax, by the way.
Hold on. It all depends on which ones you buy.
Oh my gosh! There's always
Oh,
somebody.
you
who,
buy the ones that always
there's
win?
always
You gotta buy.
Yeah,
No,
he buys all the ones that win, but he still works for a living.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
if
It's
you
a hobby.
think
This is a hobby.
think of the crypto market like scratch offs. There's 8,000 different coins.
You know,
There's
and-
so
and
many.
there- it is
so
a
you
little
want to pick
It
the
is a little
winning
bit of a
one.
gamble. It is a little bit of a gamble, especially when you see that one that's 0.000, and you could spend $40 and have 1,000 of them.
Yeah, who could-
it's like I want to own 1,000 of something.
Well, that's just it. Where could today, if you look in the market and go, gee, where can I buy 1,000 shares and spend
Of anything.
$40 and buy
Right.
$40, and that's a couple of pizzas and a drink, or
I know.
I
I own 23 Doge for $8.
yeah.
So it's I don't own a stock of 23 of anything for that little bit.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to buy things at a quarter, and maybe it just goes to $1.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, that's going to be a windfall.
Easy come, easy go. $20, I'm in.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm in.
Yeah, you got to know when to press the sell button.
Right.
Well, that's,
And never on the panic when everybody else is selling. Don't do
no,
that.
that's
Don't-
when you buy more.
Don't be that guy.
Buy
Exactly.
more. Buy more.
Yeah. So when people are like, "Oh my God, see, I told you, crypto just fell 30%." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Are you saying Bitcoin's 30% off?"
I'm in.
Can I borrow some money?
And that's like any market. I
Right.
mean, look what happened even in the stock market, just to go back on it. for so many. Hindsight,
Yeah.
the market dropped. We were at 28, I think, before the pandemic. It went down to 17, 18,000.
Yeah.
Think about what you could have
There's a-
bought then at 17,000 and immediately went back up.
Yeah.
Cost averaging,
And
it just
now it's double. Yeah.
now it's double again. So the Bitcoin, this crypto is going to do the same thing.
It's like any other
You
investment.
just can't
Yeah.
time
Just keep
Yeah.
right.
the market.
Right.
But
You
but
just
all you
never
can
know.
do is when you have a little bit extra, just keep putting it in there. Sometimes you're gonna, you may overpay, but sometimes you may underpay. But it's that dollar cost averaging.
And one of the things we've been saying behind the scenes, and we'll bring it out on the air, is this is going to be like internet stocks too. The stronger are going to survive, and there are going to be some dogs out there too. So
Yeah.
you're going to have to be willing to take your loss and say, okay, I lost $20 on this one. It's no different than making a Super Bowl bet, really, or a couple of scratch offs, like
Right.
Jesse has said. So you just have to take that risk, and everybody needs to know it's still a little bit of a volatile market.
Well, especially when new coins are entering the market all the time, and when you can tweet, Mr. Musk. By the way, you're invited to come into this studio and explain yourself.
Yeah.
But when you're able to tweet and affect any kind of market, any kind of stock price, any kind of anything, not just a pandemic, not just a dollar collapsing or going to war. When a whole economy can take a 20% dump because of somebody's flipping tweet, that's volatile.
Yeah.
So by no means is this going to be something that everybody just wants to sell your house and get into. Like, keep your house, guys.
Yeah.
Well, let's
You
take a
know,
look
be
at
smart.
let's
Be
run
smart.
let's run the market really quick, because
Okay.
the volatility, that's a question
Right.
or concern that comes up all the time. And so the total market cap of the crypto market is $1.6 trillion. So that's all of the cryptos. So Bitcoin is currently sitting at just above $36,000 per Bitcoin, and it's at 42.68% dominance. So of that $1.6 trillion, 42.68 is into Bitcoin
Right.
itself. So the market cap is so small that a tweet can move the market drastically
Exactly.
like that. I mean, what is Apple's market
Valuation,
Yes, I mean,
500
it's-
billion, which is probably half of the crypto market. I don't know. I mean, but you look at Amazon, that's 110 billion or
Or
something.
even look at gold is 10 trillion. So I mean, we're
Right.
just at a fraction of what it is. So as more money comes into it, as more institutions come into it, and as the market cap grows, it will stabilize as well. It's not going to be as easily moved.
Yeah.
So that will help with some of the volatility. I mean, we're just so early in the space.
Right.
We're so early.
Now, we're about 15 minutes left to go. Why don't we just do a little refresher? Because, there are some coins out there that don't fluctuate a whole lot.
Stable coins.
Yeah. I mean, you want to just maybe offer the definition of a stable and an alt, maybe?
Sure. Okay. So an altcoin
Yeah.
is considered basically any coin that's not Bitcoin. So you have Bitcoin, and then you have
that's a
all
big
the
market. Okay. So
all the rest of them.
Okay.
Yes. So the different coins have different use cases. Some of them are for smart contracts. Some
Right.
of them are trying to copy what Bitcoin is doing.
there's Bitcoin spin-offs, yep.
A lot of them are trying to copy, but Bitcoin is the true decentralized, the number one token. So it has the most history. But the stablecoin market basically is pegged to the dollar. So Tether, for example, one Tether is supposed to be redeemable for $1.
Like an exact value.
Yes.
or
So
within a couple
they
cents.
they add or take out supply to stabilize it to keep it at $1.
And who's they? Is there someone who
The Tether.
sells their shares?
The tether guy.
Oh,
The tether guy. You go
tether
down the
guy.
street. Hey, it's the tether guy.
There he is.
You had the apple guy. You had
Yeah.
the vegetable guy. Now you got the tether guy. I got a guy.
Like the milkman.
Yeah.
So it's a way to get away from the volatility. So
Right.
say you have your Bitcoin, it goes up to 64,000. You're like, oh, this is the top of the market. I'm going
Right.
to sell. So you can just convert right into Tether or another stable coin, USDC, to avoid that volatility. But then
Right.
you're not cashing out, so you're not going into USD. You're staying in crypto, but just avoiding that volatility risk. So then when the market does go down, then you can get back in.
So that makes sense, because if anybody out there is going, oh yeah, well the IRS is going to tax me every time I trade and I take a windfall. And there's been a lot of those. There's been, and the IRS is going, wait, you're buying Maseratis, all these kids are, buying Doge at 0.0004 cents, and now, it broke 10 cents. That's a windfall for some of these people. And yeah, they're cashing out, taking that cash, buying that dream car, and the IRS is going, okay, we have all these little crypto millionaires, and we're not getting any play on it, and they're pissed off.
They want
and so
they're coming for it.
That was the news today.
Yeah. So instead of that's a good idea. I mean, if we're going to talk strategy on the show, to when you do make that nice little substantial bit, if you keep it in the market, you're avoiding capital gains or any other kind of, I would say, taxable income, right?
Actually, I believe
you can call me wrong. Just
when you sell, even if you go into a stable coin, I believe it's still a taxable event.
We'll have to investigate that, because that would defeat a whole lot of taken. Yeah. Because 30% taxable on an investment.
Exactly.
That's.
We're gonna have to bring in one of our tax guys
advisors.
that we knows.
Yeah.
Quick little segment.
Well, yeah.
No, but then it comes down to, okay, do you believe in what you're investing in, or are you just buying dog coin to buy the meme coin, which people are making millions off of?
And now there's meme coins. That's a
well,
term
that's just
too.
it. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, you see on Instagram, coming soon, almost like a brand new movie, coming soon.
Right.
Minting now, like it's like they're baking bread.
Yeah.
Little minions.
Freshly mined, just for you. Coming this fall.
Yeah.
So if you believe in what you're investing in, then it might not be in the best interest to trade it, to sell, because then you have to worry about those capital gains, those taxes. So long-term strategy, over time, it's best to buy and hold.
Because I saw today, on Instagram in my stories, I saw, can I buy a racehorse for $52, or do I buy, another couple of Doge, a few more Doge coins? $52 goes a long way. Do I buy a racehorse?
Yeah.
Or do I go into more? Do I go more into crypto? Either way, it's a gamble.
Yeah. I mean, except for, a stable coin, obviously.
Right.
And so we just established that's less of a gamble.
Right.
That's just buying pretty much a trading currency, like $1 for a pound or franc or whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, and it's so exciting because Forex has been a thing. People trading, foreign exchanges and I'll buy so many Vietnamese. I hold foreign exchange in my safe at home. Just in case.
So we learned that Jesse has a safe at home.
well-versed.
He keeps his passwords on his phone.
Yep.
Keep going. Keep going.
So
we're gonna learn his locker combination in senior high.
And I live off of Youre Boulevard and US 1. It's a cute little community. My dog is named Murphy. Can't miss him.
No, we just changed roles.
You're blushing.
Nah, it's the lights.
Yeah, it's this has been a good first episode. Should we close with anything for our people? Did you learn what you needed to learn, first of all?
Yeah, I did learn.
Okay.
I did learn.
So stable coins, altcoins, meme coins, and you can exchange all this on exchanges, aka wallets. Is that synonymous? Is that the same thing?
No.
Okay.
I mean, there you have your exchanges where you have to do your KYC verification, your customer verification, where you can connect your traditional finance. That way you can fund your account.
Right.
And then a wallet is something separate. So it could be a downloadable app, or it could be a device that you can pull your coins off of the exchange.
We'll have to explore that.
Yes, I mean that's a whole
maybe
show
another
right
episode.
in
Yeah,
itself. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tell us where people can find us and do all that stuff, and I'm going to take us out, guys.
All right. So you can subscribe to the CryptoWave Podcast on YouTube, and please don't forget to like and subscribe, or listen to us on wherever you listen to your podcasts. For more information on how you can get involved with crypto, you can also visit my website at spacecoastcryptoconsulting.com. Thanks so much for joining us.
And what about our Facebook page?
And also the Facebook, CryptoWave Podcast Facebook, CryptoWave Podcast Twitter account. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below. If you liked our show or if you hated the show, you can leave it in the comments for Joey.
That's fine. I may not be so nice.
All right. Well, thanks so much for tuning in, guys.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for listening today.